All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another unfortunately, long-awaited episode of Tet Dis Sports, soon to be Hardhead Sports. That wasn't me showing my head; I was blowing something off my laptop. But Hardhead Sports. So
we know.
Oh, believe me, everybody that knows me as a hardhead mofo. So hard ass too. I mean, I'm a hard ass. I have no reason to be, but I am. I'm soft and squishy.
Oh God! All right, let's go.
So we're gonna recap a little bit. We've had a lot of stuff happen. Obviously, the Super Bowl happened. We got started with college baseball. That season started for everybody, where everybody's doing well. LSU and UL have the same record. They're both 3-1 right now. UL beat number 14 in some polls, number 20 in some polls. Won the series 2-1 against UC Irvine. So that's a big thing for UL. They've always had a good baseball team. Now the football team's starting to catch up. Hopefully the basketball teams come next. Obviously softball too. They've been better at softball than they have at anything else, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But,
consistently.
Baseball's in and out of a regional, super regional rounds and stuff like that. But softball's going to the freaking national championship like 6 out of the last 15 years. So I mean,
they've been ridiculous.
Win it necessarily every time, but
it's kind of like going to Omaha, though, right? Like there's an accomplishment of getting there.
Well, I mean,
you want to reach the pinnacle.
It's an accomplishment for a low level group of, not used to be a lower level group of 5 school. Now we're probably one of the top 5 group of 5 schools, and 3 of them are coming out of the Sun Belt. Like,
you're like
you got App State, you got
North Dakota State, like FCS.
Yeah,
just top tier. You're the cream of the crop in your bracket.
Exactly.
Right?
So we'll get into a little bit of recap just on those real quick. Then we'll get into a little bit of basketball. Obviously, the Super Bowl. If you didn't watch it, why? It was a phenomenal game. The Bengals had the lead for most of the time. Then Matthew Stafford did what he does. He's always had really good game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime. They avoided overtime this time, finished it in regulation, 23-20, I believe the final score was. Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase weren't super locked in on this one together. They were locked in individually, but it was fun watching T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase burn Jalen Ramsey over and over and over again. So nice. I enjoyed that, but the Bengals have like 50-something million in cap space, and they have probably one of the best offensive weapon rosters, and nobody to protect the quarterback, who, thank goodness, didn't re-tear his ACL, but probably tweaked it, and it's going to take him a couple of months to come back. And obviously he's got time. It's not a big deal, but Super Bowl teams have the shortest offseason because free agency starts the 5th?
Yeah, it's coming up.
So the last day,
right there.
It's either it's one of the first days in March, something like that. But no, you know what it is?
You got combine coming up with
the 4th, the last day that they could do it. Franchise tag window is the 8th, and free agency starts right before that, or right after, whatever. But in the next week, free agency will start, and the last day to franchise tag teams, I believe, is March 8th. So there's a lot of things to look forward to in the NFL offseason. Obviously, you got the draft. This is going to be a heavy defensive first round. Everybody knows that. It's going to be like 3 quarterbacks taken versus like 6 in the past few years. But you got potentially the top 4 teams taking a linebacker, a defensive end, edge rusher, something like that. You got what's his name? I know you got Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. What's his name from Thibodeau? Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. That's 2 edge rushers who are probably going 1 and 2 after you just had a quarterback go the last 2 years. Now you're getting 2 edge rushers in the first 2 picks. Like, it's a big deal for defensive players this year. We got from LSU, we got guys like Damone Clark and Neil Farrell Jr. and Ed Ingram coming out. So Eric Stingley, who's probably going in the first round, somebody that needs a cornerback. So on that draft note, we'll see if Dennis Allen likes drafting LSU players, which still Mickey Loomis. So I don't know
how good he drafts in the first round. That's going to be key. Because man,
he needs to get either a wide receiver or a safety to replace Marcus Williams. Because if we can't afford, let's be completely honest, would you rather keep Teron Armstead or Marcus Williams? It's harder to draft if we're being 100% honest. You look at how good we've done in the past few years on defensive players versus we have done on offensive line draft.
And late and like late round talent in that cornerback, defensive back position. Not to mention just the abundance of talent that are,
it's
free agents.
There's a lot better late round cornerback, defensive back, nickels, safeties, whatever. A lot better talent in the later rounds than our offensive linemen. You can develop those later round offensive linemen into phenomenal players, but it's just tough to get used to the NFL speed of defensive players because it's not the same. You got top guys like Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon, that are already at the NFL level, and you had the Bosa brothers and the Watt brothers, and those guys come out of those are like top tier 1 of 1 type people that are gonna go the top 3-4 picks every year, and that's exactly what happened. The Watt brothers went top 5 picks. Bosa brothers went top 5 picks. I think the Bosa brothers. I know Nick went like 3. I can't remember what Joey went. Joey might have been 5 or 6.
I'm pretty sure they were. It was definitely top 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are the guys that are going to be up there, and then the talent level just drops off for defensive end.
Yeah.
So you got those top tier guys. You have tier 1 guys and you have tier 4 guys, and then you have like a couple of people in the middle, but like the majority of them are either tier 1 or 4. Like there's no in between for the most part. Offensive linemen are essentially the same way. You have those guys that come out like Lawan and Trent Williams that came out like that, and Laramie Tunsil was one of those guys, and he keeps finessing people like he still is, but good for him. Hey, get your bag, bro. But we'll see what they decide to go with. We either need to pick a safety, I believe, in my opinion, 18th pick I think we have. So we're gonna get a good talent right there. Regardless, right there in the middle of the pack. You're still gonna have some guys left over, but we can't. If you see somebody you want, trade up because he wanted Patrick Mahomes. Let me see where that is now. So,
because I mean, if you're gonna talk about like what could have been, which who hasn't done that, right? But
it's Patrick Mahomes, and look what he's done. Obviously, you're gonna have that conversation.
Yeah, there would be differences because Andy Reid, Sean Payton are not the same coach, similar, right? But he would still be super dynamic. He would still be where he is now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he might not be running as much though. Ain't no way Sean Payton will let him run that much.
No, not at all. Because, I mean, you never know because I don't know.
Don't you say Taysom Hill?
No, I wasn't thinking Taysom Hill. I was just thinking like even Drew was able to like adjust and run if he ever needed to. We've just always been able to protect very well because we had a good offensive line development. So that's the only thing I think would probably have been better. And he would have had better defenses early. He had a great defense the past 2 years, but like the year he won the Super Bowl, their defense wasn't that great.
No, yeah,
they didn't have what's the defensive end's name? Because I know they had Frank Clark that year, but they didn't have. I can't remember his name.
I'm at a loss.
I can't remember, but
I'm not here to bail you out on that one.
No, it's fine. No big deal. But we'll see what the Dennis Allen draft era is. You know, we don't know what it's going to entail, but I'm looking forward to it because obviously he's been a big part of drafting defensive guys. So, and you know, we promoted our 2 defensive assistants to co-defensive coordinators.
Interesting move.
It was very interesting, but I mean, you know, Chris Richard was a defensive coordinator at one point for the Cowboys. So, granted, he was a big reason that the Cowboys defense sucked. But you look at Dennis Allen being your head coach versus what's his idiot Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett, yeah.
You know,
there's a reason why he got fired from the Giants.
The reason why is probably not Chris Richard's fault that he sucked. So,
well, not even Jason Garrett. I mean, you're handcuffed by above that, you know, ownership.
Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses.
So, I like it.
Hey, I was on the spot, bro.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get in a little bit of baseball, and we're moving on from football. Obviously, let me go back to football for a second. Obviously, yesterday and today, Brian Kelly introduced the offensive and defensive staffs. So we'll kind of recap that a little bit. Completely forgot about that, but we'll just kind of go over it for a second. But obviously, you know, we got Mike Denbrock as our offensive coordinator. We have Matt House from Kansas City. I was drawing a blank. I wanted to say something, but you know,
I was assuming that's where you were going, but I didn't want to I was like, he's on a roll.
Yeah. So I mean, we got guys that obviously came back. You got Frank Wilson. You got Cortez Hankton, who was supposed to, you know, be interviewing and was a big candidate for the Rams offensive coordinator job. You know, Sean McVay is going off of his own career, no experience. Let's go coach in the NFL at a high level, which is BS. But I'm glad he didn't go. I'm glad he didn't get the job because we still get him as our wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator. And you look what Georgia was able to do with a walk-on quarterback against Alabama. So he was literally moving lateral. Cortez Hankton is from Georgia, same position, wide receivers coach, passing game coordinator. So if he can be as successful or even like 70% as successful as Joe Brady with Mike Denbrock, who we know offense is crazy good at Cincinnati, obviously different talent level here defense wise. So you're not in the group of 5 anymore. You know, you're not in the all-American conference or, you know, American Athletic Conference or whatever the hell it's called. You know, the AAC is not the SEC. So he's going to quickly know that. Obviously, Matt House knows the SEC a little bit. He was a defensive coordinator at Kentucky. So then he went on to become a linebackers coach at Kansas City. So he knows the SEC pretty well. Plus, he was a linebackers coach in the NFL. So, but you got the guys that he brought back to recruit. Obviously, you got Cortez Hankton. You got Frank Wilson. You got all these guys that went to St. Augustine. Like, that's a big deal of guys that come in and recruit. And you see Brian Kelly did that. Obviously, we've talked about it before. You see what he did, bringing all those guys that are from Louisiana, that went to LSU, that worked at LSU before, that just love LSU and want to work here. You know,
that recruit and know the state.
Right. They can walk into St. Aug and say, "What's up, principal? That was my principal 15 years ago." Like, that's easy for them to be able to do. And, or, you know, 30 years ago, if you're Frank Wilson's out there freaking, I know I've said it multiple times, Frank Wilson's out there recruiting in a leather jacket with a freaking stamp LSU on it. Like, that's OG as hell, man. Like, dude is such a monster. Obviously, you got Mike Denbrock, Matt House. Then you got Brian Polian, who's a special teams coordinator. You know, we've always been decent at special teams. He came over from Notre Dame with Brian Kelly, along with their punter, who's like a 7-year senior. So that's a massive deal. Obviously, you have Frank Wilson, who's the associate head coach. And then you got Brad Davis, stayed on as offensive line coach. Cortez Hankton, like I already said. defensive line coach and running game coordinator, two different sides of the ball, which is wild. Jamar Cain, he was a defensive line coach under Lincoln Riley. Was supposed to follow Lincoln Riley, apparently. I didn't know this, but he was supposed to follow Lincoln Riley, but transfer portal flipped to LSU as that position. Quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan, who came from La Tech, another reason La Tech takes an L. Safeties coach Kerry Cooks' wife went to LSU. He's pumped about being here because his wife's been raving about LSU. I saw this interview yesterday. Actually, I saw it this morning. His wife was raving about it. Now he's fully drinking the tea and he sees what she was talking about. So we have guys that are all related to LSU somehow, you know. Cornerbacks coach Robert Steeples, who obviously played in the NFL and did all that with the Vikings, obviously, but he was a high school head coach before this, though. But he's 29-4, so I think we're okay. He's coming in as a cornerbacks coach. He's pumped. Him and Kerry Cooks are ready to continue the legacy of DBU, and I think Jacoby Matthews is going to realize that he made a mistake and probably want to enter the transfer portal in a couple of years, and we're not going to want him because Brian Kelly says no. You didn't want to be at LSU, you're not going to be at LSU, and I honestly love it.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as it's going to suck of turning away good players at some point, I love it because
I had heard when it came to like Jacoby Matthews, part of the deal was like he can't enter the transfer portal.
From
how true that is, I don't know.
Like the NIL,
like that was part of the bag deal from A&M. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's your.
Look, I didn't sign on the dotted line. I don't know what's in that little contract. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it wasn't the NIL as to why he went to A&M, bro. Look, Jimbo did this legit.
It cracked me up that
I almost made it.
He came for Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban. Like, come on, dude. Yeah. Come on, dude. You just had the number one class in history with 7 5-star recruits after you had 4 in the past 5 years, and you just went 8-4. The last game of the season, you lost to an unranked 5-6 LSU.
They're back, baby.
And then you took their quarterback and his brother tight end. Like, but you're probably gonna go 9-3, 8-4 again. Hey,
they're gonna have a wonderful time at the Cotton Bowl.
No, it's not even. It's gonna be the freaking Tax Slayer Gator Bowl or some shit, like Taxac Bowl or like the Mayo Bowl. Get some mayo. You can go win the Mayo Bowl, finish the season 9-4, get some mayo dumped on you, bro. Like, have fun with the number.
So disgusting.
Hey, I'm ready to see. Where's the shirts, bro? Where's the banners? Where's the cups? Because every time they do something semi-significant,
yeah,
like cups for the 7 overtime game, beat Alabama, make the shirts. Like, bro, you're supposed to win football games. What's the big deal?
That's what happens when you don't do it very often.
Head coach, like, you can make a shirt for that, make you a personal cup.
Yeah.
First assistant head coach Nick Saban's ever been beat by. Congratulations. Yeah. Now you're one of 2 already.
Yeah. It's a huge accomplishment.
It's so insignificant at this point because Kirby Smart did it for a national championship. You did it to go 8-4.
Yeah. He did it when it actually counted.
Right. You didn't really anybody else. You lost to 4 other teams, including a 5-6 LSU.
Yeah.
Make the shirts, bro. 8-4, beat Alabama. Simple as that. Let's get to. Hey, I wanted to point this out. I saw this on Twitter the other day. They're tearing up the floor in the old UL gym, and this is what was under it, man. It's freaking the SLI logo, Bulldogs, from like 60 years ago. When it wasn't like it was SLI, then it was USL, then it was ULL. Now it's just UL.
Yeah.
This is the original South.
It's like Southwest Learning
Institute, something like that. South Louisiana Institute. That was all it was. Like, and that's the S of with the Bulldogs on it. That's pretty crazy. I thought that was cool.
That is better. My grandmother went there when it was SLI.
Yeah, the 2 years before my grandpa went, it was SLI. It was USL when he went, but it was that's I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, so we're gonna start with LSU's opening weekend series against Maine. Obviously, we're gonna go in a really annoying order here because I'm gonna get pissed off about them losing to La Tech last night. But La Tech's got a good team. I'm not gonna hate on them. They suck in every other sport, but baseball they're really good at, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they hosted a regional last year. They're a really good team.
Right, and
people forget about it.
And they lost it, but
but still
they hosted it. We went to Oregon and won ours.
Yeah.
So we went to a cold ass place in Oregon and won, and you hosted and you lost your own regional. It's okay. You can beat us though. It's fine. So LSU beat Maine in the first game 13-1. 17-8 in the second game, 21-6 in the third game. So you look at everybody. Trey Morgan first night, 3 of 5, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. Then you look at everybody else. It's essentially Jacob Berry's 1 of 5, Dylan Cruz is 1 of 3, Cade Doty's 2 of 5. Braden Joubert is a monster, and unfortunately, he had to come in and play because Kay Beloso got hurt in a freak accident in a pregame team huddle, like breaks his damn ankle in a huddle.
It's wild.
So Braden Joubert is going to come in 2 of 2, 1 of 3, and 3 of 4. That was his opening weekend. And he wasn't even the best.
It's pretty good.
Because Cade Doty was 3 of 3, 3 of 6, and 2 of 5. Like, that dude is a monster. So, obviously, we scored 51 runs, record, for opening weekend for us. And then they came and Wednesday night lost to La Tech 11-6. Obviously, we came back a little later, and then they just – it was 9-6 going into the 8th inning, and then they scored 2 more. And but they had, we got 6 runs on 7 hits. 5 freaking errors, man. Like Maine had 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 errors over 3 games. We had 5 in 1 against La Tech. Jacob Berry dropping a leadoff triple.
That kind of set it for the whole game.
Set a tone the whole game. Jacob Berry out of nowhere dropped a leadoff triple. It's dark outside. There was no lights. There was no sun. The lights are behind him. Dropped the leadoff triple. Just didn't see it drifting, I guess. Dylan Cruz slowed up because he's like, all right, yeah, you got it. And unfortunately, it dropped. And then, you had I forget his name. Jack Merrifield couldn't get a handle on a couple balls. Counted them as errors.
Dude, third base was eating his ass up.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the turf. I mean, obviously, turf doesn't bounce as much as doesn't bounce as
I really feel like the turf. I mean, that ball play is so different, right? On the turf, you got a mixture of moisture because it was drizzling, raining the whole time,
and it was 35 degrees.
It was fucking, dude. That's miserable baseball weather. Absolutely miserable.
Especially when it's raining like that, like just that mist.
God bless.
Thank you. But yeah, even regardless, I think we got a good setup for the season. Obviously, there's still 50 games to go. We're fine. We're not.
Yeah, you don't at this point.
3-1, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, you look at this because every single thing that they had is totally fixable.
100%.
Because you can go out there, you're gonna field ground balls. Merrifield's gonna field more ground balls this week than he might field all freaking season. You know what I'm saying?
That's self-induced.
Exactly. And
that's the culture Jay Johnson's built already.
Exactly. And what I loved, we talked about it in our group text, Jay Johnson gave no excuses because they asked him straight up, hey, coach, it's cold out there. It's wet. You know, is that helping? He was like, no. He was like so furious in that statement. No excuses. We're playing bad. Yeah. I mean, and that's what you want from your leader. You know what I mean? You don't want to sit there and just be given excuses and excuses. I can only imagine how that bus ride was back. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're going to set the tone. I think it's going to be a crazy weekend this weekend. I think they're going to be back to it. Money should be back on the mound tomorrow night, Friday's game, right? So, like, the bullpen really needed some work. It was nice that they got arms out there. I was happy to see that because that's what you're going to do. This is what we're depending on come SEC play.
Right.
Because you're going to have –
you got Ole Miss, you got Vandy. I mean, you got Arkansas, you got Tennessee. Shoot.
I mean, this is why they schedule these games. La Tech is going to give us great RPI because La Tech is going to do what they got to do. Like you already mentioned before, we already said they hosted a regional last year. So that is a good baseball team. You know, so
yeah, they only lost.
They're going to give us good RPI. At the end of the day, you know, LSU only lost by 5 runs. And how many errors did they have?
5.
LSU. They had 5 errors. Okay. All of those errors, it was all plays that we talked about. It was the opposite of what we talked about what happened with Maine and LSU. LSU, they had a lot of errors, Maine did, but LSU still scored tons of runs, but they scored runs with the errors, not because of the errors. They kept rally going, they kept hitting, and they were putting the ball in play. Same thing that La Tech was doing, but La Tech kept the game alive because of errors.
Yeah, they did because there was no way they scored. Obviously, the first inning they scored 4 runs, I think. I mean, dude.
And it all started because of an error.
1 error.
Because, hey, how many – okay, Merrifield –
2 in the first 2, so 4 in the first 2.
So Merrifield throws it to first base from third like twice in 1 inning, and Trey Morgan can't scoop it up. Well, that kept him alive the whole time.
One was the one where it slipped out of his glove. And then the second one that inning was Merrifield too. He couldn't. The throw was a little wide, and his foot came off.
That's 2 outs right there.
And then another error. Whenever we have 2 outs, K. Doty out of nowhere, wild throw to Trey Morgan. He's got to freaking just dive for it at the ground. Like
Coleman overthrowing first base.
Right.
On that little boot. You know what I'm saying? That's another out. Like the way the rallies, the La Tech staying in the game against LSU last night was very different. Was very different. They were scoring because of errors. They were staying in the game because of errors. 100%. They weren't just scoring with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But and on the other side of Louisiana, not the other side, central Louisiana more, you got UL going 2-1 against the number 14 or 20, whatever you want to look at.
On what poll you're looking at, right?
I'll show you what this one says. This one's got them at this is updated. This one's got them unranked, but it was 14 or 20 last week. So you look at that, you go 2-1, and then you go and win a late game against Southeastern, 5-7 to 5. That's what it was, I think. You got a good thing going. LSU and UL are both 3-1 in baseball. Matt Deggs, getting underway. I'm excited about going to a few of those games because it's right there down the road, man. I can watch anything. But we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming. Obviously, you got tomorrow. LSU plays Towson, and then Southern on Saturday, and then Sunday they play Towson and Southern. So they got a 4-game series this week against 2 teams, which is very weird, but whatever. Yeah. We're number 11 according to LSU's website. We're number 11, but I'm okay with that.
So, what I had heard about, I was listening to the Jordy Holberg show, and apparently why, like Paul Maneri did this, but why they do this where it's like one game, then they'll play like a local team, and then they'll go back and play. It's apparently because he'll invite teams from like northern states to come down, and they don't get to play a lot of baseball. Like Maine doesn't get to play a lot of baseball right now. It's freezing cold. It's snowing.
Right.
So it's to let them get more games in by coming down here and play, and gives our guys a chance to play ball against another team. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no,
so that's why they did it with Townsend too.
I remember the announcers talking about it over the week. Yeah. I think it was Saturday. I was watching it. They were talking about how the first time they went outside to practice was Friday.
Yeah.
They were doing all indoor stuff on before that. Their spring was all, or their winter training was all indoors. Like
it absolutely showed.
Cages and on turf inside, and then they come play on a dirt field, and they got 10 errors over 3 games, and they get beat 51 to like 6-4 and 3. So freaking 13 run, 51 to 13. Like that's absolutely wild that they just don't get to do it. I mean, it's like it's unfortunate, but like it's not our fault.
No,
they took advantage of it. They got rolling, and then they lost the game. The next game they played. So it's unfortunate, but we'll fix the things that we did. So having those back-to-back games on Sunday will be a fun thing. The Raging Cajuns baseball, they are not here this weekend. They are playing in the Carbach Round Rock Classic in Round Rock, Texas, and they gotta struggle 2 of those 3 games. They play number 4 Stanford tomorrow at 12. Then they play Indiana at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Then they play number 2 Arkansas at 4 on Sunday. So they have 2 top 4 teams in 3 days, essentially. It's gonna be a fun weekend for them, I guess. But it'll be telling, very telling. And then this I don't understand. So they play in Natchitoches on the 1st. Then they come play. I've always hated this. I know it's just how it is. You play a series with in-state teams back and forth. I know that's how it is for lower level group of 5 teams and FCS schools and whatnot. I get it, but I hate it. They play in Natchitoches on Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day. Everybody that's from Louisiana is going to hate that.
Yeah.
At 6 p.m. And then they come play the next day on Ash Wednesday, which is also stupid, at 6 p.m. in Lafayette. Like, why can't we just play 2 games in one spot? I know it's just how it's always been, but why?
Yeah.
That's 2 travel days for no reason.
Yeah.
Because one person goes to one place. Why?
That's extremely difficult on the fans.
Right. It doesn't. First off, nobody's going to be at that game on Tuesday.
No.
6 p.m. Mardi Gras Day. Have fun. Bye-bye. I'm not doing it. Like, I wouldn't go if it was here. I mean, I might be at the fair, so I probably would go, but go to the game and then go to listen to whoever's playing Mardi Gras night. But that'll be fun. Obviously, baseball season is underway. We're pumped about it. So we'll move on to a little bit of college basketball. And to our resident you can't be fans of both things, we don't ever talk about UL basketball because I never know when a game is happening. Ever. It's nobody goes. I live right by the Cajun Dome. I pass by it all the time. Nobody is there. Ever. And if somebody's there, it's a concert. Or the Monster Jam.
Damn.
And I hate it I would love to go to a game. I never know when they are, and I guess I could look up at the schedule, go buy a ticket, whatnot. But like, I don't see them on. Like, I follow them on Twitter. They don't post, but LSU does. So guess where the hell I was on Sunday?
Hey Griff, you at the PMAC?
13,360 fans, or 660 fans were in that mofo. It was live. Like, number 17 Florida versus number 11 LSU at the time. Now we're number 8. Hang on. I got to look at something because, oh, wow, it is over. I did not think the basketball game was over.
Yeah, they won 58-50.
Yeah, I see it now. But we play number 16 Tennessee Sunday, so that's going to be a good game. We're 24-4. They're 22-6. That'll be a fun one. But obviously, the game we went to, they won 66-61 against Florida. That was a fun time. Obviously, we're number 8, like I said. South Carolina's got the number 1 seed in the Southeastern Conference. We have the number 8 seed. Luckily for us, South Carolina beat Tennessee, and then we beat Florida. So we stayed above Tennessee by a game. That way, if we do lose to Tennessee, we'll still keep the thing, whatever you call it, the 2. But we're 12-3 in the conference. South Carolina's virtually unstoppable. They're 13-1 in the conference. That's the only game they've lost. They're 25-1 overall. So, it's going to be a pretty wild SEC tournament for the women's team. They're currently playing Texas A&M. South Carolina is, and they're beating them 73-31. That's embarrassing. Hey, life, death, taxes, and beating A&M in sports.
Love it.
We barely lost to them 66-60 whenever we did play them. So we were number 13 at the time. They held the number 1 seed forever. The only team that they've lost to was back in December by 1 point to Missouri, which is wild. But
weird.
That was in Mizzou. It's a fluke game. Everybody has that game every year, you know.
Absolutely.
We're looking at a projected 2 seed as long as it just started pouring. Projected 2 seed as long as we beat Tennessee. I'm pretty sure whoever wins that will get the 2 seed. So let me see, actually, because I think they'll be 12-4. We'll be 12-4 if they beat us. So that whoever wins that gets the 2 seed. So that'll be an interesting game on Sunday. The men's projected 6 seed will actually be seeded, which is good, I guess. But we've fallen off. We're not ranked anymore. We're 7-8 in the conference. It doesn't look great. We're 19-9 overall, but we're definitely going to get I'd say a top 20 seed in the March Madness. I would think, but who knows? We play Mizzou, who's 10-18 in the PMAC on Saturday. So definitely can't lose that one. Got to win 20 games. 29, yeah. I guess we'll finish at,
It's like you continuously want to build on your resume. You don't want to hurt it. You know what I mean? Even if you're solidified in there.
Right. We're going to be in the tournament regardless I'd say a top 28 seed. I'm not going to say 20.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, as much as you've done for this season, which, look, they can't fucking score the ball. But
I mean, last night they lost 71-66, which is really good against the number 6 team in the country who we beat earlier in the season. So
it's not consistently, you know what I mean? No. It's not consistent with it. But you don't want to sit there and just decimate your resume and then lose games, and then now you're a lower seed in the tournament by scraping by, and then what, to go play a number 2, 3 seed, number 1 seed, like.
But you listen to this, man. You had 3 people in double figures. You had Darius Days with 10 points, Eric Gaines with 11, and Xavier Pinson with 26. But you look at Kentucky. You had Sheboy with 17, you had Grady with 13, Mintz with 13, and Hopkins off the bench with 13. So you got 4 people in double figures, and you essentially got Xavier Pinson accounting for 2.5 people in double figures. Like, and they had a couple people with 8 and 6. We had 6, 5, 3, 5, 11, 10, 26. Like, that's what we had. That's bad. That's not good.
No.
And our leading rebounder had 8 rebounds. Like, that's not great. And that's what we've always said. Even for the women's, we got to get better at defensive rebounding. The women would be destroying these teams if they could rebound better, because they give up a lot of rebounds and they give up a lot of open shots. Like, they give up that extra. Women give up that extra pass every time, and it's wide open. And I get it, because they're trying to play that zone, so it's tough. They're not playing man, so I get it. But a funny story actually about the game on Sunday. Yeah, we were sitting in front of this couple. Obviously, me and Tyler going off, being hype as hell like we always do. And I posted a picture of the floor, our whole set of pictures that I posted on Twitter. And I got a reply, and I said, it said, "My wife and I were sitting behind you. Great game, great win." And I was like, "My bad for getting in your way all the time." He's like, "No, my wife was honestly okay with it. She was surprised at how knowledgeable you guys were." And he goes, "Now it makes sense." I was like, yep, sports podcast. Got to be a little bit knowledgeable about something. I throw a man or zone in there, and they think I know what I'm talking about. But I think I threw like 66% is horrible, like free throw wise or something like that. Or like they're out rebounding us, like whatever. Like they're +5. Like, I was just throwing stuff out there. Like, I think I know what I'm talking about. But if you actually get me to talk about like actual basketball stuff other than what the stats say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But you get into baseball or football, let's go. But I love basketball. I love watching it, and LSU gets me hyped for it. NBA's, I'm glad I made that segue into that conversation. The NBA's got me on a downfall for basketball again. I was really hyped when we got CJ McCollum. It doesn't seem like it's going to help as much as we thought it was in the first 2 games. We're completely different. We got blown the hell out, and we beat a playoff team. Like, it makes no sense. We beat a 6 seed in the playoffs, and we got blown the hell out by like an 8 seed. Like, it's very unfortunate.
Classic Pels.
But yeah, essentially very quality Pels. It's pretty classic. Classic New Orleans. Even when they were the Hornets.
Right.
They went to the playoffs one time that I remember, and that was when Chris Paul and David West and Peja Stojakovic and all them guys were here. Like,
oh shit.
Yeah, back in the day. And then who they lost to? Kobe in the first round of the playoffs. So R.I.P. boy.
R.I.P.
Oh yeah, that just hit 2 years, which is wild to me that's already been 2 years.
2 years.
That happened.
What?
Kobe died 2 years ago, dude. 2 years.
What a year, 2020. I still feel like it's 2020.
Right. Dude. But yeah, I'm glad I segued into that. Zion obviously didn't reach out to CJ when he got here. Obviously, since JJ Redick's and CJ's comments on the situation, Zion has allegedly reached out to CJ McCollum and spoken to him briefly or in depth. I don't know, but at least he actually did it. But it took a former teammate and the current one that we're talking about to say something that you haven't talked to him, and it's stupid that you haven't talked to him. And what JJ Redick said is it shows a complete lack of investment and this and that. And the conversation that was kind of swirling around Pelicans Twitter and New Orleans sports media Twitter or Louisiana sports media Twitter was Zion ever invested in the Pelicans? I think 100% yes. But what have they done aside from, because getting Brandon Ingram,
because they didn't give him any other pieces.
Getting Brandon Ingram was not about getting Brandon Ingram. It was about the Lakers getting Anthony Davis. This is the first time they've traded. We want CJ McCollum. You take this. We were the you take this team last time. We got that from the Lakers. We want Anthony Davis. You take this, which was Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and whoever. But you get a guy like Tony Snell Jr., Larry Nance Jr., and CJ McCollum from the Blazers. Like, that's good. So that should automatically just reinvest Zion. It should, because you look at what he's done with another guard and Dame Lillard in Portland. I mean, they made the playoffs a bunch of times together. Like, obviously that was when they had LaMarcus Aldridge and stuff like that too. But, you have a backcourt like that. That's great. And Herb Jones coming out and being a star. Like, I feel like Zion should be invested in it, and he's not, and that's not okay with anybody in New Orleans sports media, and it shouldn't be okay with anybody in New Orleans sports media, and it shouldn't be okay with CJ, and it shouldn't be okay with JJ Redick, who's a former teammate of Zion's, and I shouldn't be okay with it, and I'm not. But bottom line is, CJ comes out and says, yeah, we haven't talked. That's a red flag immediately. Dude's been there for a week. You hadn't even talked to the star player who only played like 60 games in his 4-year career. Like, hadn't even played a full bubble season, dude. It's absolutely crazy.
I feel like Zion. I feel like he's just checked out.
And sadly,
I don't think he doesn't want to be in New Orleans anymore. That's why I was on the page where whenever you asked, hey, do you think he was ever invested? I mean, you're saying this is the first time that they've traded to try and build around a player, right? Going after someone that they want. So if I'm Zion, do I feel like maybe like it was for AD? You know what I mean? They did the same thing. He wasted a lot of his youth in New Orleans because they didn't build pieces. What's up?
AD was also injured a lot too.
That is, AD's still injured. Man, did you see the ankle? Whew.
Hey, the Lakers suck. Whew. The Lakers are Lakers. Yeah. They're getting exposed right now, dude.
Yeah.
They got kicked out of the playoffs in the second round last year. The Bucks won the championship, and the year that they won, they didn't play a full season, and it was in a bubble. Like LeBron James. He wore a crown and he came down in a bubble, dog. Grow up. Don't count.
He wants to play with Bronny, man.
I think that's so stupid. Bronny's going to go to like the shittiest team ever, and he's going to go and they're going to win like 20 games, and he's not going to want to retire.
Trying to be like Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr.
Right. So dumb. The Lakers are in 9th right now in the Western Conference, 27-31. They're 21 games back from the Suns.
Jesus.
The Suns are 49-10. And they're the best team in the league right now. The Suns
are the best team in the league?
Yeah. The Suns, okay, listen to this, dude. The Eastern Conference top 2 seeds are 38-21, and that's Miami and Chicago. The 38-21, right? The 4th seed in the Western Conference is 36-22. The third seed in the Western Conference is 41-19. And that's 8.5 games back from the Suns. The Suns are 7 games ahead of. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, New Orleans is 23-36. We're 26 games back.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Right. I think they need to do away with this play-in bullshit.
With what?
The play-in tournament thing.
Oh yeah, I got you.
I think it's dumb. Go back to the way it was. You did that for the bubble. Cool. Get rid of it. Because the difference between a freaking, I know like right now they're close, 31 and 25 wins for the 7 and the 10 seed, which it's 7 through 10 that are in the play-in tournament. And then the Eastern Conference is 32 wins and 28 wins for 7 and 10. So right now it's close. It's within 6-7 games. But like later in the season, Toronto's in the 7th seed and Atlanta's in that 10th seed. If Toronto is still in the 17, but they got, 50 wins, 50 and 30 or whatever it is, which they're not gonna. But like let's say they got 40 wins and Atlanta stays in the 10th seed, but they only win 5 more games. That's a big difference, and you got to play them for a freaking spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the 7th seed could very well have a winning record. The 10th seed could have a losing record, and I got to play that team for a freaking spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You should not be a lottery team playing in the playoffs. 10 seed would be a lottery team on each side. Because you got what, 16 lottery teams?
I don't want to lie to you and tell you I know. I don't.
Something like that.
I don't fuck with the basketball.
6 and 6, so 12. 6 and 6. The 10 seed would be a lottery seed on both conferences, and that team has a chance to make the playoffs with a play-in tournament. I don't think they would be in the lottery if they make the playoffs. I think you switch with the team you lost essentially.
That's like the NFC East always putting in a team with a below 500 record into the playoffs.
Right. This is the first year that didn't happen.
It's so bad.
It's embarrassing. I can't. I just don't like that at all. But let's see. Oh yeah, we're going to war, bro. Good thing I got out.
Okay. Apparently.
It's all right.
We'll see.
We'll live.
We'll see.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, Trump would have just, been on Russia's side and be like, nah, Trump would have been like, yo, Vlad, chill, bro. And he would have.
None of this fucking shit happened under Trump.
Trump's gonna start World War III.
Yeah, they didn't even came close.
They tried to make it seem like he did, but all right.
Well, yeah.
Not get political. Keep it about sports. Keep it about sports, bro. Sports. Yeah. But no, man, look. I'm about to start letting Tyler do his thing with his people if he wants to, just because he can do it more on his schedule. So I don't know how he feels about it, but like I want him to be here. He can't sometimes, and that's understandable. I don't have it against him or anything like that. It's just I gotta stop not recording, and I hate recording by myself. I can't sit here and stare into a camera or look at myself the whole time. Got to be able to look at somebody else. Sick hat.
Lucky duck.
Sick hat,
man. Appreciate it.
I love those. Thanks. I need one. I want to get the little. I want to get the Letterman with the freaking helmet on it, like the.
It was between this one and the one with the helmet, and I showed Crystal, and she was like, "No, the helmet one looks too goofy." And then I looked at this, and I was like, "Yeah, it's fucking sweet."
Yeah, it's dope, dude. I love the rebrand. I love the
it's dude, the colors, the everything. It's nice. It's a cooler name than the Skeeters. It goes better with Astros. They're Space Cowboys.
Yeah, Sugarland Space Cowboys, man.
Yeah.
Great. I absolutely love the rebranding. I knew what it was. Everybody knew what it was, but nobody knew the actual like logos and everything. They just kept showing the colors and like teasing and stuff like that. But like the logos are sick.
Oh yeah, dude. As soon as they dropped and everything, like I bought it as soon as I was like, yeah, I'm ordering it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get me one of the jackets with the freaking helmet right here.
That's good. I like the helmet. It's pretty cool. And I was talking to one of my buddies, Paul, and he was saying like he was like, man, who is that? So I was telling him it was the Sugarland Space Cowboys, AAA affiliate for the Stros, and he was like, minor league, nice. I was like, I just like the whole different minor league system. I don't know shit about like the other teams. I just like their hats, right? I like the gear.
You got the hooks too. You got the Corpus Christi hooks.
The Corpus Christi hooks, they have one hat. They have a whole bunch of hats, but they got some sick, yeah.
CC
They got
hook.
one where, well, they have one where it's the state of Texas, and then it's a hook, and they have the star where Corpus Christi is.
Yeah.
But the colors are like light red, like a baby blue, and then white. It's a really fresh hat.
I want the hooks that are C's. Just like that. CC. Those are sick.
That's a clean one too.
But yeah, I gotta give me some Space Cowboy merch. But also, if you guys don't know, they have not just former player jerseys. Obviously, I got my Hester on there, but they have anytime you get a current player's name on the back of the jersey, they get a percentage of that for NIL. First team in college football to do it, with Nike, obviously, and the Fanatics thing and all that stuff. So pumped about that, obviously.
Yeah, it's nice quality. It looks good. It doesn't look cheap.
It's the only thing I don't necessarily like. My shoulders disappear when I do this. It's so funny. Is the collar's a little tight, but like it's not bad on your neck. It's just getting it on and off. But it'll loosen up over time, I'm sure. But I do also like how it's not super thick and heavy right here on the collar. Thin collar, like this is the same material that they have on the jerseys now, like game worn jerseys. So it's literally, I love it, man. It's comfortable as hell. But go get you a current player. I'm probably gonna get me it's either gonna be Jack or Sage.
Nice.
Or Jack Besh. Well,
nice.
I could go with a LaTerrence Welsh jersey. You know, you never know. Or I could just do all three.
Jesus Christ.
But over time, you know, obviously. But
yeah. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, I got my Jack Besh jersey on. I know how you roll, bro.
Hey, man. Gotta rep it, bro. But, Jack Besh news, he's taking some of his NIL money and donating it to a local charity in Lafayette. So
good for him, man. That's awesome.
Obviously, dude's big into charities, big into faith and everything like that. You know, proud of that dude for that. But also, secret news, our name is going to be on some shorts coming soon in a specific fight. Local fighter trains with Dustin Poirier is fighting on like April 9th, I think. And I jokingly told him, I said, you need to put the name and then a face on each cheek. Doubt that's going to happen, but it'd be hilarious.
Oh my God.
Have Tet Dis Sports on the top of his ass and then my face and Tyler's face. Like,
oh man.
Absolutely great. Big pub, you know, my face on an ass cheek. Probably not gonna do that though. I told him he can put our faces or just the words, whatever. I sent him a transparent thing. But yeah, we're sponsoring a dude, local fighter. You know, we're gonna be a little involved in his training camp and stuff like that. Probably mostly me. No offense, Tyler, I love you, but you got kids. I can go wherever I want at nighttime.
He's a little bit busier.
Yeah, you're a little bit busier than me. But it's not your fault. It's just, you know, it's what's going to happen. I hate how it doesn't, like, I don't know. Zoom's weird. But, yeah, I'm pumped about that. Dude trains with Dustin over at Gladiators. But I'm pumped about it. Probably wasn't supposed to say that, but I don't care. He didn't tell me. He didn't tell me not to. He just said shh about the date or about him being in it. That's why I haven't said his name. But I'm sure you can look up that there's a fight on April 9th. I don't care. And I'm sure everybody's gonna put that chain of things together. Trains with Dustin at freaking Gladiators. I don't care.
Obviously.
Hey, I'm paying to have my face on his leg.
Face put on his ass. Here we know.
But yeah, pumped about that. Pumped to be involved with him for the future. Hopefully, never know. But other news. Oh yeah, go follow Gorilla Up Apparel. It's gonna be another one of our partners in the future. My boy Justin Hash, massive Florida fan. We hate each other during football season, but it's easy to talk shit to, easy to talk shit with. It bounces off of him, comes right back at me, same way. We love it. Gorilla_up_apparel. Or you can go to my personal Instagram at G_BR0USS and just search it, Gorilla, under my followers or following, and it'll be there. But yeah, go follow me on Instagram too. Go follow the Twitter. For those of you just listening to this, go follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave a comment, like it, rate it 5 stars. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. Shout out to my boy Scott for joining me tonight, because Tyler was supposed to be with us, but the kids woke up, started screaming bloody murder is what the words that he said. So he couldn't come join us, but I tried to have the boys back together for the first time in a while, but couldn't happen. It's all good. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But we're going to start releasing on Fridays, my people. That way you can listen. We're going to do a recap of the previous week, whatever happens. Recap of the previous week up until Wednesday, Thursday, whenever we record. And a look ahead to the, when football season starts, it'll be like during the Thursday night football game. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously, you can watch the games. And then the next week, Wednesday, Thursday, you will be able to listen to our recap and so on and so forth. Never-ending cycle. But at TEDDOPod on Instagram and Twitter, at G_BR0USS on Twitter and Instagram as well. Gorilla Up Apparel and YouTube for our just listeners. Tetris Sports, same title for the just listeners. Search it on YouTube. We'll be there. Appreciate you guys. Leave a comment, like it, rate 5 stars. Peace.